Hi, I'm JB Wagner. Welcome to my channel, Unconventional Wisdom. You don't have to like and you don't have to subscribe because I'm not trying to make any money doing this. I'm just doing it for fun and to share information based on over 50 years of photographic experience. Today I'm going to talk to you about my Canon M6 Mark II, which is an unusual camera, I would say. So I like to get to the conclusion first. Would I recommend you buy one of these? They're now discontinued from Canon, so you'd be buying it in the used market. And I give it an unqualified maybe. So let me explain why. Why is this an unusual camera? Well, you have a compact camera with an incredible 32.5 megapixel sensor at a price under $1,000 used, and yet you have very few lenses, probably only one lens that Canon's made that can resolve to the potential of the sensor. That's the 32mm f1.4. The lenses that I think are best for this camera are made by Sigma in terms of value. They're prime lenses. The Canon's good. The 32mm just is great. I don't have it, but I've read great reviews about it. But in order to get the most out of this, you need lenses that match the sensor's capabilities. And it's using, I don't think there's a zoom in the EFM line that can resolve to the potential of this sensor, for instance. And there may be quite a few primes that can't either. So putting lenses on a camera where the lenses can't resolve to the potential of the sensor is kind of like putting wheels and tires on a high-performance car that are not nearly as good as the car itself. It's kind of ridiculous. So, in my opinion, if you want to buy into this camera in particular, you're going to be wanting to buy very specific lenses. You're not going to want to be vested mostly in zoom lenses. You're going to want prime lenses, either the Canon 32mm or the, if you want that range, which is about a 48mm. It's a normal focal length in full frame. Or what I have on this camera right now is the Sigma 30mm. This is the Sigma 16mm. They're both 1.4. They're both weather sealed, unlike this camera, which is not weather sealed. So you have a great sensor in a body that's not weather sealed. Then there's the Sigma 56mm, which is closer to a 90-something millimeter in full frame. The 16 is about a 24mm. It's a very big lens, but they're all 1.4. They're beautifully made. They have great manual focus as well as great autofocus, and they are weather sealed. The Canon's not, but the Sigma lenses are. And now these Sigma lenses are going for $200 to $300 on eBay, sometimes new, which is they are beautiful lenses for the price. So if you enjoy switching primes, or you can be satisfied with just one or two primes, so that you're not changing lenses too much, you enjoy a great bokeh, fast lens, and really smooth manual focus, this is a great combination. A really nice combination. Now, other points, this has great autofocus, but it doesn't have image stabilization, sensor-based image stabilization. So if you need or want sensor-based image stabilization, you're not going to get it here. You're going to get digital image stabilization, which is probably more effective for video, but also has a crop factor with it. For me, the high ISO images are so good coming out of this camera that I can push, and I use DxO Photo Lab to process my images, which eliminates pretty much all artifacts and grain at higher ISOs. Shooting raw is what I do. But I don't need image stabilization to take stuff handheld. I can boost the ISO, use a higher shutter speed, unless you're wanting to capture motion through the frame. And I mean, I got to be honest, I recently shot some images with the camera I'm recording this on, a Lumix GH6. I was able to handheld at times at a half second or a full second, handheld, and get sharp results with beautiful river flow, for instance, going through without even putting it on a tripod. If you want that, you're not getting that with this camera, okay, because it doesn't have it. Which is kind of interesting. You get this incredible sensor, but you don't have, and you got great autofocus, but you don't have sensor-based image stabilization. There are a zillion lenses for this camera. Canon may not have made that many. They're EFM-M, but there are a lot of third-party lenses that are available. So, but again, to me, the lenses that call out to me to say, own this camera, are these 3 Sigma lenses at the price that they're available for now. Another nice feature on this camera is the touchscreen on the back. It's super effective, and it gives you an alternative to dials for controlling the functions of the camera. The other thing I like about the camera that's often criticized, I'll just back up a sec. I would buy the small rig cage for this no matter what. I can't imagine not having it, and you'll see why in a minute. So a criticism of this camera is the fact that the viewfinder is an accessory. You must have this to get full enjoyment out of the camera, and you're better off trying to buy the camera with this included because you're going to pay less. Okay, so the screen on the back is great, and I love the fact that it flips up like this and comes out and flips down and flips up. I like that better than flipping to the side. The argument against this is when you have it up like this, you can't use the viewfinder, or you can't, more importantly, you're not going to look through the viewfinder anyway, you can't have a microphone or an audio receiver transmitter mounted in the flash shoe and have it like this. But that's one of the reasons the cage is so useful, is that you can mount flash accessory points, or you can have a handle, which I love shooting with a handle, frankly. This is a small rig, and this is the adjustable handle, which is great because you can adjust it to the tilt of the screen. And then I have a small rig audio receiver here to show you that you can set this up, and this has an Acra Swiss tripod base plate, which is awesome. And even with that, you still have full access to your battery and your memory cards without taking it off. You just don't ever have to take the cage off. And you can check out my other video that goes into greater depth about the benefits of the cage on the M6 Mark II. But with this setup, you can pop it on a tripod and you're good. And you can flip this up if you're shooting yourself, and it works fantastic. And the viewfinders come off, so it's not in the way. So if you like this, which I do very much, it's one of the best points of this camera to me. I like it better than a flip-out screen because the flip-out screens hit the handle if you're using a handle, whereas this does not. And this allows you to go in such an amazing variety of directions. I could hold it up over my head. I can get it down really low and have it straight up. That's a big benefit, in my opinion, of the camera. So, to review, well, let's say one other thing on a couple of other lenses. If you must have a zoom, then I recommend the 11 to 22, which is right here, which is image stabilized, the lens is, which gives you some stabilization, not nearly as much as like the GH6, which has both sensor-based and lens-based potentially, but it's still better than not at all. Now again, this won't resolve to the full measure of the sensor, but it's better than the kit lenses. And then if you want to go with a travel lens and you want to go small, then you're looking at, from Canon anyway, this 22 millimeter lens, which dramatically shrinks and it's quite sharp. It's not probably as sharp as the sensor, but it's good, and that makes the package much smaller. But then that's about a equivalent of a 35 to 38 millimeter on a full frame camera, if that angle of view works for you. That's very common with street photography, for instance. This is all the rage right now is the Fuji the 106 camera, and this would be very comparable to that with this lens. So for way less money. I mean, you should be able to put this together for about $1,000 or under with this lens. So I do like the camera. I enjoy shooting with this camera. And again, if these limitations or if the specific benefits for you outweigh the negatives, or the negatives aren't negatives because they don't matter to you, because weather sealing doesn't matter to you, or image stabilization doesn't matter to you, or zoom lenses don't matter to you, then this is a sweetheart of a camera. And these Sigma lenses they're really beautiful lenses, beautifully made, weather sealed, and it's ridiculous that they're available now for $200 to $300 each. So in that sense, if these lenses work for you, and given the other caveats, then I'd say, yeah, I'd recommend this camera. Otherwise, I'd say no. I'd probably, if you're going to stay in the Canon family and you're on a budget, I'd move to the R50, especially now that the 10 to 18 millimeter lens is out, which gives you a range. And you can look at my R50 videos, but the R50, I haven't talked about video. This is a good video camera, but probably not as good as it should be for the type of sensor it has. And the R50 is really a better video camera than this is in terms of video specs. There's probably better ways to go. I mean, you could do good 4K video, but it's not going to win the day on video. I'd be more inclined to decide on this camera as a photographer than as a videographer. And I think it's kind of silly to use a 32 megapixel sensor for vlogging, for instance. A lot of these lenses were made for like the M50 and its predecessors at lower resolution, the zoom lenses that I'm kind of bagging on here. So that's why this camera came very late in the game in the M series lineup, and they threw in a more powerful processor, better autofocus, and a better sensor than any other M series camera ever had or will have, because they don't make them anymore. I don't think it's a problem buying into a camera line like this that's discontinued, because there's just a mass of lens options and accessories and things out there. So it could be a great camera for the price. The prices have been holding at around $800 on eBay for a body. So it seems to be, it's not declining rapidly in value. So I think it's a good investment. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. Enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.